Okay, I am back now, and now we are going to make the pages, the pocket pages to go on those hinges that we made. But we're not going to attach them till last. We're just going to make them and put them aside. So, to show you, open our book, and we're making these. One thing I forgot to tell you, if you want, it's not necessary, but I did take a circle punch to cut a groove in these. I didn't say that in the beginning with tools, but it's not necessary. You don't have to do it that way. So this is what we're making. We're making our pocket pages that our tags or photo mats fit into, and we're going to get those all ready, and those attach onto the hinges. So we have to make 6 pages. So I already did most of mine except for attaching the paper on, and I'll make one with you to show you. So first of all, you're going to, I already cut my decorative paper, so I'll put that down, and this is what the pocket page is going to look like. You're leaving both sides open, one for your pocket, one to attach onto your hinge. So we need to take, you're going to need 12 pieces of cardstock altogether. So you're going to have to cut 6 pieces of cardstock at 6 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay. And then you're going to cut another piece, which you're going to need 6 of, at 8 by 5 3/4. So 12 pieces of cardstock, cut 6 of them at 6 3/4 by 5 3/4, and 6 of them at 8 by 5 3/4. And I'm talking inches. So yeah, I do everything in inches, so that's what that is. And then you're going to take your bigger piece, which is the 8 by 5 3/4. So take all 6 of those, which I've already put all mine together off camera to save time, but I'll show you how I did it. And then you're going to take, for your decorative paper that goes on top of it, you'll need to cut, see, because you'll leave 1/4 inch all the way around. You'll need, I used 6 sheets of the paper, and you'll get 2 pieces out of each 12 by 12 sheet. And you want to cut these at 5 1/2 by 6 3/4, and then just set them aside. So you'll get 2 out of each 12 by 12 sheet, and then save all your scraps because we'll use them for other things. So see, then you'll put them on the back of each thing. And I mean, you can do 12 different papers, but I just find it easier to do it that way. You can have front and back the same. Okay, so let's get started. So you take your bigger piece that you cut at 8 by 5 3/4 inches, and you want to get your scoreboard out and make it 8. Put it in the scoreboard with the 8 going across the top. And you want to score it at 1/2 inch on each side. 1/2 inch. I just flip my paper around. You can do it 7 3/4 if you want. I find it easier and faster to do it like this, because I know where the 1/2 inch mark is right there, and I'm not guessing. Okay, so you want a score mark at 1/2 inch on each side of this paper. This is your bigger paper. And of course, burnish it. Now you can put your scoreboard away. And you want to take your score tape, and on the inside, actually I'm going to flip it the other way because I wrote on it and I want to cover that up with paper. So if you're looking down in my pocket, you're not seeing what I wrote. Got it? The designer paper is going to cover over that. So fold your, fold it in, and on the inside, right to the outer edge being here, you want to get it along the edge as best as you can. You're going to run some score tape, and then do it the same thing on this edge. Make sure your score tape's down. Now you're going to burnish your score tape in there real good. Now you're going to take your smaller piece, which is the 6 3/4 by 5 3/4. And yes, I did make it smaller because when you put this in, and you're folding these over, if you cut it the same size, you're going to have where it sticks and gets in and be all poofy. This is going to give you the flattest pocket. So now you want to take this, which I'm going to keep my measurements that I wrote on the outside so you don't see it down in my pocket. And you line it up, well, first of all, peel your score tape off. Where's my doggone blade? This is... There they are, hidden. All right, peel your score tape off. It's very hard to see. Normally I'm down in it, but I don't want to ruin the camera, so the camera shot. So peel my score tape off. You're going to lay it this way. And then you're going to take your smaller piece and you're going to lay it right down on top, making sure, you really want to make sure your bottoms are lined up. And then you should have like 1/8 of an inch on each side of your score mark. And then so you hold it down. You just really want to make sure these tops and bottoms are even, excuse me. And then take your flap, push it over like that. I always start in the center first and then just rub it. And there you have your pocket. See? Very nice. Now it'll slip onto your hinges like that, and these will be your pages. Okay, so there, I did that with you. Now I'm just going to go ahead and run score tape. If you want to save on score tape now, I think it's okay to use your ATG gun to glue these on. I don't. I still use score tape because like I said, I sell my stuff. If you're just keeping it, I think that ATG tape will handle this, and you're not going to be putting a lot of embellishments on it. But anyways, I'm going to score tape all my papers that I cut out. So I got 2 from every sheet, so I have a total of 12. And like I said, I cut them at 5.5 by 6 3/4 inches. And I'll score tape around the edges, and I will glue one to every pocket, leaving that quarter. I don't even think it's a 1/4 of an inch. It might be an 1/8. Leaving that border around the whole thing. So I'll glue it on the front and the back, and I'll be back. Alrighty guys, so I got my pages, my pocket pages all covered, fronts and backs, and I just put the same paper on each side, but they're all different. See what I mean? And don't go nuts picking out your paper. What you want to do is know through your paper pack and decide what you're going to do for your front and back covers. And then the rest of the paper, just don't even think about it. Just do it as you go. For my covers, I'm going to use, where the heck is my pad? Here it is. I know I want to use, this for my outside and this. So I know I'm going to save these. You get 2 pieces of each paper. So I know I'm not going to touch these because I'm going to use them to cover the outside of my book. But the rest of your papers, yeah, just randomly cut. Don't even think about it, because it's all going to look pretty. All right, so we got our pages made. We know that we're open on each side because we're going to slip it onto our hinge system. So we're going to open one end, and that's what will slip on, and that will make our pages. But we're not going to do that till way later. We're going to build everything else in this book, and those pages are going to go on last. I just wanted to get them built for you because they do take up the most majority of your paper. So now what I'm going to do is on mine, I like to cut, this one's not embellished yet, but I'll embellish this one with you. I just didn't embellish it because I like to put, you could either put ribbon or a big flower, and it lets you grasp the photo mat out of there. So I like to cut that groove in all my pages. I don't do it on the back. I just do it on the front. So you only have to do one side. And I'll show you how to do that with your circle punch. If you don't like that look, don't do it. But then I like to glue, this is just for instance, like a big bling or something that I'll glue on that paper that'll slide over. And it kind of looks pretty, and this isn't the one I'm going to use. I just grabbed it. And you know what I'm talking about. All right, so let me show you how to do that. And remember, you're only going to do one side. So I have a Stampin' Up! Circle punch, and this is the 1 3/8 inch. It doesn't really matter what inch you use. You can use whatever you have. But I've already, just because I like to cut circle grooves, I just eyeballed where I think the half mark is in the half of my circle and permanent markered it. And then for this, why did I do that tick mark? I don't even know. So anyways, you're going to open up your paper and you're going to eyeball it to the middle. That's why I did it. I think. I don't know. You're just going to eyeball to where your middle is and go to your halfway mark right like that. And to me that looks like it's pretty even from side to side on my like from here to here, and I'm eyeballing it, so you know it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm eyeballing it. So I line that up with my 2 tick marks on the edge of the paper, and then you just punch it and see I'm inside like that. And there you have the punch groove cut out. So do that to each of your pages, only on one side. And know that, you know, if you whatever paper you're using, that this is going to be standing up in your book. So you want to adjust your pattern. My patterns all go where I don't have to adjust it, but just know to cut the end that your pattern's going to be, this is going to be the top, this is going to be glued down to the hinge. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. If you don't, I can't help you. You'll figure it out. All right, so I'm eyeballing it. That looks about even on both sides, and punching it. So I just do that with all 6 pages. And like I said, if they're not perfectly lined up, it's okay. You guesstimate it. I look even on both sides. I believe I do. If it's, and punch it. So I'm not going to make the mats with you for this until later. We're going to start putting the other parts together, and these will just get put aside until we're ready for them. Like I said, I build these because these are going to take up the majority big pieces of your paper, and the rest of the stuff we can use scraps of paper if needed. So that's why I do that. And I mean, you should have plenty of paper to get through this mini album. I always did. I had leftover. But sometimes if you run out, you can get filler paper like the plain golds. Well, if you're using this paper pad, you can use any paper pad of your choice. If you're going with this one. But even, match your cardstocks up to use what I call filler papers that you can get in the loose sections of Michaels and Hobby Lobby, the loose 12 by 12s. And just find a coordinating one that, coordinates, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper and you don't have to buy 2 paper pads. But this paper pad gets you through this album, trust me. So, all right, so I have those cut, and I'm just going to set these all aside now until we are ready for them. And now I'm going to take you in to do this. But first of all, I want to label this so that you know what I'm talking about of where I'm placing these. This is the front cover, so I'm going to label this front cover, and I'm writing where it's going to get covered up. So I'm calling this the front cover. And what I mean by front cover is that's going to be the front of your purse, and the lid's going to go down. So when you're opening up this way, front cover, hinge system, and on top of this is going to be the big waterfall. This is so you know where to put it when I'm doing it. This is your hinges and your spine. This is the back cover. So it's going to be the back of your purse. See, so we have front cover, your hinge system, This is the back cover, and that's going to be the credit card slot thingy. This is going to be the roof and the small waterfall. And when I say roof, that is, there's your hinge, there's your waterfall, but it's the top of your book. See? So that's the roof. So we're going to call it the roof and the small waterfall. And then this is your front flap. Front purse flap, we'll call it. Which would have been our decorative piece if we went with that, but I made it square for this video. Okay, so now when I'm referring to where we're working, you'll kind of know, so I would suggest kind of label yours too. And like I said, we didn't cover this up yet, so you can go ahead and write on that. And then we know that this is the bottom, which is one of our spines, and the bottom is where your hinge is attached to. So it would sit up. So that's the bottom of the purse, sitting up like this, and that's the section that our hinges are attached to, is the very bottom. All right, does that make sense? Did I confuse you all? I don't know. I think I confused myself. Okay, so now what we have to do is we are going to start, and we are going to just work from our front cover all the way back. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to put in our waterfall. This is going to be the big waterfall on the front cover. And what we're going to need for this is, first of all, we are going to have to cover this right now because our waterfall is going to go on top of that. So you need to, and this is the big waterfall. The decorative paper is going to be cover bottom 6 by 8, but I don't think that's right. Okay, because I want this to be shorter, so I want to do this to cover this because I want that, remember, I want that trim going around so I can make it uniform. I want to cut this decorative piece, so just find a piece of paper out of your thing. And I actually think I'm just going to go ahead and stick with this, the one that I used for here. And I'm going to cut this at 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. Okay, so cut a piece 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. And then we're going to attach that, and then we'll build our waterfall. So 5 3/4. Yep. By 7 3/4. Save all your scraps because we'll use these scraps to do pockets and stuff like that in our trims. Okay, so see, that fits on there really nicely. And I do have my in-betweens of, you know, where my hinges are, because I don't want to cover those up. It's just going to bubble up and make it yucky. So, okay, go ahead and attach this. Put your score tape all the way around and attach. All right, guys, I know I said we were going to do the waterfall next, but I lied. I went ahead and got the photo mats done. The photo mats are what are going to go inside of our pockets, and I just wanted to get those done and out of the way because I don't know why I did, but I did. Sorry, I'm getting tired. Okay, so to do our photo mats that are going to go inside of these pages, you are going to need 6 of them because we have 6 pages. That makes sense, right? Okay, so 6 of them. And we need to, I already put all of them together, and I'll do one with you. Okay? So to do this, we need a piece of cardstock cut at 5 1/4 by 6 1/2. Cut 6 pieces of this. And then you're going to need pattern paper. You'll need 12 pieces of pattern paper, your scrap, you know, your decorative paper. cut at 5 inches by 6 1/4 inches, and you'll need 12. I'm doing mine, a lot of times when I do my photo mats, I'll put decorative paper on one side and leave the other side like with a plain paper so you could write on it if you want. Or you can just mount your photo on one side and leave the pretty paper showing. But in this case, this one's not going to really be journaling on. I'll have journal tags in here. So you'll have room to put a photo on both sides or leave one side with the pretty paper showing. But regardless, you'll need to cut 12 decorative pieces of paper, one for each side. And again, that's 5 inches by 6 1/4. And then your cardstock, you need to cut at 5 1/4 by 6 1/2. So, of course, we know it's going to lay this way in our book. So we want the 6 1/2 going this way and the 5 1/4 going up and down. So I already put score tape around the edge of both of my decorative papers just to save time. And I do it right along the edge. There's no need to put glue in the center of this one because a photo is going to go on there and it's not going to be a page where it's pulling and constantly lifting that off. So we're good with just the score tape. And so I go ahead and peel my score tape off. I do it in camera. And then I take my decorative paper and I line it up, getting it even because you're going to have that 1/4 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch, is it? I don't know. Around, I know that side's straight, my bottom's straight, so everything else should be straight. And you're just going to glue that on there and then do the other side. See, isn't that easy? And I have all 6 of them done already. I'm just doing one with you. And then our photo mats are done. So, if you're wanting to make your book a different size, know that you need to make these a little smaller because you want it to fit in good without really messing. I'm lining up the bottom edge. I turned it the other way. You don't want it to fit, jammingly tight in there, so you're struggling to pull out your little photo mat. So know that you need to cut it slightly smaller. So there we go. We have 6 photo mats. They're all done on both sides. I put the same paper on each side because you will get, out of a 12 by 12 piece, you will get to cut 2 of these out because it's 5 3. What was it? 5 3/4 by... Oh, I don't remember. I already covered it up. But you will get 2 decorative pieces, so I just made them both the same. You can mix them up if you want. But these are the ones that I chose, so I'll show you out of the paper collection in case you want to do it exactly the same as me. And then you can put a nice size photo on each side of this, or just one side if you want to keep the paper showing. You could put a smaller photo and let some of the border show, or crop it there, and then they will fit nicely inside of your pocket. Now remember, we're going to have that 1/2 inch hinge sticking up in the bottom, so therefore that will lay on top of that, and it'll butt up just right on your little groove thing. So we're going to put these aside now, but they're done. And those will go in very last in our book. But before I go any further on this, I want to get these magnets on because I will forget. And you will probably too. So what we want to do is we want to put our magnets on before we put our decorative paper on, because our decorative paper is what's going to hide our magnets. I don't know what the heck I got on there, but whatever. So we know we're going to have magnets on the front of our book. Let me zoom out. On the front of our book, and I'll show you where I put. On this one, I only put one in the center, and my magnet falls right here and then right here. and it closes. This one's a little stiffer. I'm going to do 3 magnets, and I don't have a decorative edge, so I'm going to place my magnets. Let me get them. I want one in the center. And remember, okay, so here's our book. It's closed up. That's the decorative front right there. So I want to put a magnet on both corners and here. So I'll start putting them on the inside of the back flap, and then I'll show you how to line them up the easiest way. Now with this, do not use, I remember in my last video that I said when I attach my magnets, there was a reason why I do not use hot glue. First of all, hot glue burns the heck out of you. Second of all, I got a new hot glue gun, which is this one. I love it because I like the stand. But I'm telling you, this is the hottest glue gun I ever had in my life. It's AdTech Precision Pro, and the stand is built in, and it's got the fine nozzle tip. I love the glue gun. The only thing I don't like is it doesn't have an on and off switch, so I have to unplug it. But, so the other day I was trying to be fast, and I put hot glue on my magnet. These are metal or whatever they're made out of, and I'm telling you, it heated it up, and you will get the worst stinking burn of your life. That's why I don't hot glue my magnets on. I use the Fabri-Tac. So with this, I don't have to be precise. I know I want it down into the middle. I don't want it right on the corners. I want it more in the middle. And I guess I can zoom in now a little bit. So where we're placing these, the front purse flap, the inside of it, not the outside, the inside of our flap, before we cover it with any decorative paper. So I'm just going to take 3 magnets, put some glue on the back of them, and I'm going to place that, hold on, in the center down here. It doesn't, you don't have to measure, just eyeball it and keep them pretty much, you know, try to keep them as even as you can. And then I'm going to take 2 more and glue down here, because when I put my decorative paper over, I want enough to glue down around my magnet. So I'll take another magnet, put some glue on the back. And that looks good. I'll go right in the corners of my paper because I know I'm going to leave a 1/4 inch, and I want, this is just to make sure your album stays extra tightly closed. And now I'll put another one up here. I'm just gluing it down, and that looks good. So I know I got enough paper around. These can actually go down a little bit. I know I got enough room around, oops, to adhere my paper on top of my magnets and push around it. And that's going to be good. Now I'm going to take some Scotch tape. And I'm going to put tape over these magnets. You've seen me do this if you watched my other tutorial video. Because I want to be able to work with them and line it up. And not have them come off before the glue dries. I don't want that to go over to my edge because I'm going to have decorative paper covering it up. That Scotch tape can stay on there, guys. Your paper is going to cover it and it's not going to hurt it. Alright, so my nail polish is coming off in there. But that's fine. Alright, so see, let me zoom out. This is what we have now. That's what you should look like. I put my 3 magnets. Now I'm going to close up my book. Close up my book on the front here. And as all I'm going to do, you don't want to smash this. Let me see something. Because maybe we can smash it all the way down. All right, you got to remember, you don't want to smash this all the way down so that that top is touching up there. You want to leave it down a little bit because remember, we're going to have our waterfall in there and your pages to stand up. So let me show you on here. Because, so this is where I had put the magnets and your waterfall is going to be on there. So it adds thickness. And that's the roof of the mini. So when you close it, and I'll show you from this angle, when you close it, you see how I still have space because my waterfall. So yeah, I left like, what is that? Like a half, not even a quarter, about a quarter of an inch. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take glue and put them on the back of these, on top of this tape on these magnets, just round in the circle. And I'll probably have to put more tape over it when I'm done. I should have did this before I put the tape on, but it's okay. So I'm putting tape on top of those magnets because it's going to mark where I want to put these other magnets. And I'm going to close up my book. I'm going to make sure that it comes down straight. Make sure you're straight here. And I'm going to leave that quarter of an inch. See? So my book closes, and then just smash this down. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now, when I open it carefully, my glue marks are going to be on there. I don't know if you can see, but I have 1, 2, 3. And I know my other magnets need to go right on top of that. Now this time we do have to make sure, because I know in the other video I showed you how I apply my magnets. If you want to see the easy way that I normally do it, go watch my basic mini album tutorial. So I know I'm going to take 3 of these babies off of here, and these magnets are super strong. All right, they can go back in their little holding spot. Okay, so this time I need to make sure, which, let me wipe the glue off of here. It's almost dry already. I want to make sure what side is going to cling to this magnet because one side resists another. The problem with, okay, like if I try to, like that one, it gripped on, so I know that my glue has to go on this opposite side. I'm not making sense. Because one resists the magnet. See, I can't let it stick, but the other side grabs the magnet. So I know that this side that's sticking to this magnet needs to be the up side. So therefore my glue has to go on the other side. Like that, because I need my magnets to stick together like that. Got it? So put it on there and know that the side that stick needs to be up, and this side that resisted needs to get glued down to your front. Okay, so just put it right there. And now I need to test it on each one. Oh my gosh, you can't get these suckers off. It's easier to get off. There we go. Okay, so that's the side that's going to stick, so I need to put the glue right on the top of that side. And then flip it over to the front, and it's going to go right on that, where that glue mark went. And then once again, our last magnet, that's the side that sticks, so the glue goes on the top. And then it gets glued down to my front there. And I don't have to panic because I know my magnets are on. Because it's easy to forget. Now I want to put tape over this as well. Okay, camera cut out. Okay, I want to put tape over each of my magnets. It'll let them dry and nothing will be pulling off if I have to close it and test it. Okay, so magnets are on. Glue all over my nails. Get your glue off. And now it should be able to close ever so nicely. See? But it's still wet. So don't do that until it dries for sure. Even though we have the tape on, let it dry a little bit. Okay, so that's a sure way to line up your magnets. No fuss, no muss. And we did our pockets. Okay, now we're going to do where I left off. We put this decorative piece of paper down onto the front cover, and now we'll do the waterfall. And this one is the big waterfall. Now I already have everything pre-cut. Big waterfall. Okay, see, I did it all while my battery was recharging. And I'm able to tell you now quickly. All right, so we know that the big waterfall is going to go on this front cover. We're going to turn our mini album so it's facing, that's where our front lip will be. So when it opens up, you're going to put your waterfall here so it flips up this way. All right, so what we need to do this waterfall is I have everything cut out. And I just wanted to show you to save your scraps when you cut it out, because these are the perfect size. Then what you end up with if you cut it the same way I do is to go in between your waterfalls. So I save all my scraps until the very end. So we need, this waterfall is going to be 3 pages plus 1 on the bottom. I'll show you how I do it. So you need to cut 3 pieces of cardstock, 3 at 5 1/4 by 4 3/4. And you should cut 3 of them. Okay? Simple as that. 5 1/4 by 4 3/4. And then you need to cut 1 piece at 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. And that's the piece that's your last page, but it glues down. It's not part of the waterfall. Okay? All right, so we'll start there and then I'll show you the belly band afterwards. So let's start here. I have everything there. We'll get to it each part of the way. All right, so what we need to do is 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. And I want to score on my 4 3/4 side, which is this one. Is that right? Hold on. Hold on. I gotta check something. That was right. I don't know why I got mixed up. Anyways, here's the example of the waterfall mini. Do you see how the book, that's the front of our book. It opens up, that comes down, and there's your pages. So therefore you need your waterfall to go this way, and there's the belly band, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So it's 5 1/4 going this way. It doesn't matter when you cut it, just cut it to that size. But you want to lay your 5 1/4 going this way on the paper. And your 4 3/4 mark is up here. So on the 4 3/4 line, we're going to score it down 1/2 inch, which is going to leave us at 4 1/4 then to fit a photo. So let me get the scoreboard out. I have my small one. I don't even know where it is. All right, so let me move this aside. And we want to score this. That's my cutter. So let's take the scoreboard, and we know that this is the 4 3/4 mark on all your paper, because your picture is going to be 5 1/4 wide. So you put a score mark at 1/2 inch. So then really you're left with where your photo is going to be, because this is going to be your hinge on where you're going to attach it. So really then you're left with 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 to fit a photo. Well, by the time you mat it and everything. Okay, so I'm going to score all 3 of these. Let me make sure I got them going the right way. So I'm going to put a score mark at 1/2 inch on this one. Is that the right paper? Yep. And a 1/2 inch on that one. And that's it. And then you have your one piece at, so we have 3 of them at that. And then one that you're not going to score, because it's going to be your last one, is 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. Yeah. 1/4. Okay, I'm getting confused here, guys. It's okay. Now you're going to burnish down your hinge marks, and we're going to put the score tape on this side of your score tape, because your hinge is going to glue down and open up. Okay, you're not going to put it on this inside. You want that to fold over. You're going to put it on the outside. So I'll go ahead and score mine up and come back. Okay, so I took my 3 hinged pieces, and you can see I scored it down, folded over. I put my score tape right here, and then that will become my waterfall. So I score taped all 3 of these the exact same way. Okay, and then this is the bottom piece, your smaller one. Make sure you trim your tape off if you're sloppy. Okay, so I put score tape all around the perimeter of the one that's 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. All right, so now let me stress this, because I cannot stress it enough. When you're doing your waterfall pages and you're cutting them out, you have to have them perfectly the same size. Otherwise, they're not going to lay right, and they're going to lay starting to go crooked. So you have to make darn sure you're cutting it really straight. So whatever line that you're measuring on for each one to cut, you make sure, like if you have it before the line, right on top of the line, that you do it the exact same way. And you will know if your paper trimmer cuts crooked or something, you're going to know, because it's not going to line up right. All right, so I take my book, and you're going to have to lay it, go in this way. Because like I said, we want this to come forward like so. See how they lift up? Now these I put paper on the back so you could journal, or still put a picture if you want. And then that's your flat piece that lays flat. Okay, and we'll go over the belly band in a minute. So let's build this baby. So I'm going to take my score tape off, and I'm going to, there's no measuring to where I'm putting these, guys. And I'm going to zoom in. And I hope the glare isn't horrible. Let me get rid of this paint water, because this is going to be very hard. So I'm laying my book that way. And you want to get this straight, but you want to eyeball it, like come down, let's say 1/2 inch. Or a little bit less than 1/2 inch. Let's do like 1/4 inch. Make sure it's straight and kind of just eyeball it, that you have equal distance on each side. It does not have to be perfect, but make sure you get this nice and straight. Okay, and that looks good to me. It looks like I'm straight, and I put my hinge down because my score tape was there. It looks like I have, I'm not measuring it to be precise. If you would like to do that, you go right ahead. I just eyeball it. All right, so then we go to our next one and peel off our score tape. I peeled it off, and that hinge is going to lay, and what you want to do is you want to butt it right up to this one and lay it right in front, making sure that your corners, on my head in the way, is right corner to corner, because that first one is your guide for the whole way down. I think that's pretty straight. Now it looks good. See? I cut it straight. I mean, it might be a hairline off, but you're not going to notice it. Let me put a darker paper underneath so you can kind of tell. Now see how that... I guess you're not going to see until I put the decorative paper on. Whatever. Alright, so then this... Now this is only going to hold 3. So I'm going to put the next one on. And do the same thing. Butt it up corner. Get it exact. And wedge it up in there. Can you see how I did that? This is tricky. It's hard to do it videoing. I think it looks good. And I'll run my finger under there. We're a little bit off, but hey, I'm doing this. It's not going to be the end of the world. I'm trying to do this on camera, so I can't get a good angle as if I would if I wasn't on camera. Now this is the one that's scored all the way around. You're still going to butt it up, and I got to make this shorter. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to butt it. What did I do? I think... Yeah, I ended up cutting this shorter. Alright, we're going to have to finagle this a little bit because, well, I guess we don't have to. Alright, what you really want is to be able to see each layer coming down, but we're not going to do it on this one because we don't have a big enough area. So this time I'm going to put my score tape and butt it up right into where my crease is so that it will cover the bottom of this page a bit, and you're only going to see a little bit where technically you would want it evenly spaced apart, but that's okay because it's just the bottom. You can leave it blank if you want and just leave the pattern paper showing and not put a picture there, but I like to put a picture there. I didn't adjust for that measurement, but oh well. I did it in the real book. So now I'm just going to butt that up right inside my flap. I just butted it right up to there. Don't go over it. And now it covers it up, but it works. Okay, so there you go. There's the waterfall page that we have. So right here is going to fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 photos right here. And now let's go on to the belly band without having to stop the video. The belly band is going to be 1 inch by 6 inch piece of cardstock. You only need one. So 1 inch wide, 6 inches long. And then cut 2 decorative pieces to go over, 1 on each side. You need to cut 2 of them at 1 3/4 by 5 3/4. And you cut 2, 1 for the front and 1 for the back, and that's going to give you, oh, scratch that, don't cut it at that because I have to fold it over. So don't cut these decorative pieces of paper yet. Just cut this 1 inch by 6 inch. And you just need 1. And I will show you how we're going to do it. So yeah, cut a piece of cardstock at 1 inch by 6 inches. Take it in your score thing. Do it. And on the smaller end going down, we want to score it at 1/2 inch. Actually, we can get by at 1/4 inch with this. No, do 1/2 inch. Just do 1/2 inch. Just because our tape, and it's going to make it easier. Okay, and then, so we scored it at 1/2 inch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my score tape again right there. What I do with it. It's underneath. So now I'm going to have to recut those stupid decorative pieces, but it's okay. So now I'm putting the score tape on the end, on that flap. because I want to attach it right in the center on top of this. Like that. And then my decorative paper will go over and cover up where I attached it. Do you see what I mean? And then it still hangs right over the bottom. See? Okay, so now peel off your score tape. Let's see if I'm still on, because it should be shutting off soon. Peel off the score tape. Take this take this hinge, put it right to the top edge, and eyeball it into the middle where it's even on both sides, and that looks about good right there. Make sure you got it on straight and press it down. So that's going to be your belly band hinge or whatever. Now we want to put a magnet on here to hold this down. So let me get my magnets. And I know the magnet's going to go here. Where am I? So you want to flip your belly band over to the underneath part of it. Like that's the top. You want to flip it over, and your magnet is going to go on the end, but make sure you leave room for your decorative paper to go around, and just take your glue and stick it down. At this point, this side doesn't matter. It will matter on the other magnet. Come on, glue. Alright, so I'm going to give myself plenty of room. Okay? And then tape it with your Scotch tape. There, now we can work with it. Now, again, see how it came over and my magnet's on that side? So now I'm going to want my magnet to go, I'm going to get another one. See how they come in this big roll? And they will destroy your nails. Alright, back over there, magnets. Alright, so now I know on my last piece of paper, see how it's stuck to the front magnets that we have on there? That's through all that chipboard. Alright, so I want this to close. Alright, test it, because you got to see which side you want up. So this is the side that my glue has to go down on. So let me get the glue on it. And I'm going to eyeball it to about here. My decorative paper is going to cover it, and this should catch it, I hope. If not, you're going to see a blunder, and we'll have to fix it live. Alright, now those papers, yep, it works perfect. Okay, so now keep that right there. Tape it up really good, because we'll put our decorative paper pieces over that. There, I didn't tape it all the way. Alright, so now let's remeasure this belly band and see what we're going to cut these at. So I know I want it at 1 3/4 because I want the border showing around the edge, and this was 1 inch, so I want this at 1 3/4. But now we've shortened it, so it's now, because we took that 1/2 inch off, so it is measuring 5 1/2. So that means I want to cut this at 5 inches. So we want to cut 2 pieces at 1 3/4 by 5 inches. And I wrote on here, but let's get rid of the 3/4. So I need to retrim this at 5 inches long. And you're going to do it to both of them. Five inches. All right, so your belly band decorative pieces are 1 3/4. Did I say that right? Yeah, 1 3/4 by 5 inches. No, this is 2 inches. Oh, wait a minute, guys. I'm screwing you up. What am I doing? This belly band is 2 inches wide. Did I totally mess you up? I am so sorry. 2 inches by 6 inches. 2 inches wide by 6 inches. Score it at the half mark. This then becomes 1 3/4 by 5. That is correct. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you didn't glue it down. If you did, it's okay. You can keep that and just trim this to fit inside of there. It doesn't matter how wide this is. You can get by with having this 1 inch. You just have to have your decorative strip at 1/2 inch. Or you can peel that off. You'll be okay to peel it off. Just wasted your magnets. I'm so sorry. Anyways, you're better off to watch the video one time through to find the mistakes because I can't edit this. Maybe I'll try to put a note in when I rewatch the video. Because this is going to be too long to edit. Alright, so I'm score taping around my edges of this belly band cover. And yes, you're going to want to glue it in the center because it's going to get manhandled up and down, and it has a magnet on there, so it's going to be pulling. So yes, you want the glue in the center for the double protection. And I'm peeling this score tape off. I thought I was so cool at writing down all these things. It's not easy to do these tutorials and write down what you measure, and it's really difficult. So I am not going to have written instructions on this. You just have to watch my tutorial because I really don't post things on a blog. I have a blog. I haven't touched it in many years. I don't like to write down things. That's just what I do. So, sorry. All right, let me put some glue. And then you put it so you have your 1/4 inch all the way around. Well, it's going to be more than 1/4 inch. You're going to have it bigger. Bigger on these ends, but that's okay. You can we're going to put like an embellishment or something on here. Okay, so I will attach this one to this side. And I will be right back because I'm going to get my papers ready to put on. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I got my decorative papers now that are going to go on my covers all cut out. And I cut them at 5 inches by 4 inches. And you're going to need 7. And I glued both of my decorative covers on my belly band flap thing or whatever. So we need 7 of the decorative papers cut at 5 inches by 4, and I did check it. That's the correct measurement. I score taped all of them on the back to save time, and I will go ahead and I'll adhere them very quickly. So pick the ones that you want. I chose to go with, like, if you don't want your backs, if you want to put photos on it or journal, I kind of left this like a plainer paper so you can either put a photo or there's a room to journal because it's not busy. This one's not going to be that way, so you could just put a photo, but I'm going to have photo tag or journaling tags in this book. I personally don't journal, but sometimes it's fun to write on the back of the photo what it is, what you did, and all that nonsense. So decide which papers you want where. And so I know these 3 are going to be for the backs. So when you flip it up, and then these 4 are going to go on the front. So I like this one for my first page. And on this, I don't glue. I just, because the photo is going to go on top, it's going to be okay with just the score tape. And you are going to definitely use 2 rolls of score tape. And I have the 27 yards, so to do this album. If you don't want to do the score tape and you think it's too expensive, use your ATG gun to adhere. So I don't recommend it for around here, but for your photo mats, that's fine. I do the score tape because I know it's going to last, and I do sell my stuff, so. Alright, so see how that looks? I mounted the first one, and now I'm going to do a back one, which is going to be plain. I'm just peeling my score tape off. I know I'm off camera, but I'm just peeling the tape off. And now I adhere it to the back. And you want that little border going all the way around. I think it's 1/8. That looks good. I adhere that down. I'll go ahead and put the rest of them down, and then I'll be right back. So you don't have to sit here and watch me do that. But see how nice that's going to look? I open it. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, so I'm gluing I glued all these on, or I stuck them on. And this is my last page, and now I wanted to show you because you really need to put the glue over this magnet, and I do it around it. And for this one, I am going to glue just the back of this, just because it's going to be magnetized and pulling up on that paper. So, of course, that's common sense to tell you that magnet's really strong. The more you're lifting, over time, you want to keep it as secure as possible. So I be sure to put some glue on top of that magnet, right on top of that Scotch tape that we did it. And then there's where you want to press down and make sure you got your magnet covered on all sides. And then you don't even see it. And then you could place a photo right there. So there is the big waterfall, all complete. Now, when we're done, we can embellish this with something, but we'll do the embellishing all together. I don't embellish until the very last thing. Okay, so now we're going to move on to, we'll do the small waterfall, and I'll be right back to do that with you. Okay, guys, are you still hanging in there with me through this? Oh, I don't know how much longer I'm hanging in, but okay, we are going to make the small waterfall, which is going to be, I know that's dangerous to leave my coffee there, because if I do all this work and spill it on there, I'll kill myself. Alright, so I got everything cut out, everything score taped. We're working on this. My tripod sounds like it's moving. If the camera falls. And where we're going to put that small waterfall is on the roof part. Roof, I don't know, that's how I talk. And so it's one of your spines or whatever. And it's right next to the back cover. And that's the decorative lid that goes over. So we're looking at our book this way. That would be the decorative flap. We're opening it up. That's the big waterfall or hinges, the back cover, and this is where the small waterfall is going to be. and I will show you what the small waterfall looks like. So here's our purse standing up. I'm going to lay it down, open it that way. See, there's the big waterfall, our pages. We're going to get to that last. And then here's the small waterfall. With this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then your bottom, which would be 9. That's giving you a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 pictures to go right here. On this one, I left the backs blank because it's still thick enough and you can mount a photo, and the black borders it. On this one, I'm putting the decorative paper on both sides just because the white looks really plain. You can do it however you want. You could attach a plain piece of cardstock to the back if you want to journal or whatever. Why is my tripod making noise? You better not fall. I have it rigged. Trust me, one day I'll show you. Okay, so that we'll put aside. What I should have told you is a good tip that you could do, because if you don't get your waterfalls cut straight and they're crooked and you have to start over, if you already attach your backing page and you're working on it in the book, if you screw it up, you're just screwed. So a tip that you can do, which I'm going to do it on this one, is cut your backing paper that's going to lay over that and your waterfall will attach to it. Don't work on it in the book. Work on it outside of your book, which I'll do now. And that way, if you screw it up and it's all crooked, you can rip this up and start all over. And you won't have to redo your book. But anyways, I will tell you what I cut this at. This is the backing paper. And it's going to fit right here in between on this spine section. And I cut it at 3 3/8 of an inch, haha, by 7 3/4. Now, I used the correct terminology if you want to do it my way of measuring, because if you don't know what 3 3/8 is on your thing, if someone told me that, I'd have to really figure it out. First of all, you can get one of these rulers. I got it at walmart.com. It is called Victor, and it's the easy to read ruler. And it has on here, this side's in centimeters and the pink side is in inches. And it breaks it down for you into the 1/8, 3/16, 1/4, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's how I knew. So you can either go on here and do 3, what's sticking to me here? 3 3/8 of an inch, which would be right there. Or you can do it my simple method way of how I measure things. And I call this, where I measure it, let's turn it over, 3, I'm going to zoom in for you. Can you see that? Okay, 3, and you want to go back 2 tick marks. When I say tick marks, I'm talking, my blade popped out. I'm talking, again, that's the 3-inch line right there. And that's 1 tick mark, 2 tick marks. The one little line, the littler one and the bigger one. So according to that Victor ruler, that is, no, wait a minute. If I said 3 3/8, stop right there. Yeah. I want to go forward 2 tick marks. 3 3/8 by 7 3/4. See, I am not. Oh, I'm sorry. I was right. Okay, so if you want to do it in my world, you really have to think about this. I want to measure it 3 1/2. I didn't write that down right. Yeah, 3 1/2 and go back 1, 2. Yeah. Yes. Okay, because we're going that way. See, So how I would normally measure it if I didn't want to give you the correct thing is I know I want it 3.5 and go backwards 2 tick marks, which will give you 3 3/8 of an inch. See the 2 tick marks? So that's 3.5, 1 tick mark, 2 tick marks, and then cut it right there. Okay, otherwise you can do it 3 3/8 by 7 3/4 this way. All right, did I just totally confuse you? I just proved how mental I really am. That's how I measure, guys. I'm not a carpenter, I'm a paper crafter. I can get away with it. All right, so we cut that by 3 3/8 by 7 3/4. This is gonna lay, I actually cut 2 of these, so go ahead and cut 2 because one you're gonna use to cover that. So while you're cutting it and measuring it, you might as well cut 2 pieces because when we cover the next lip side, it's gonna be the same size. All right, so that will go on there, but we're gonna move this out of the way to do the little mini because we're gonna work outside of our thing in case we screw it up. All right, so we have to cut, and I double checked them this time. So the measurements I'm giving you are correct. Someone's coming home. We need, I wrote them down and I had them in order. Okay, here it is. You need to cut 8 of these little pieces, and you're going to cut it 2.5 by 3.5. I already scored and taped mine, so it's 2.5 going this way and 3.5 this way, and on that 3.5 you're going to going across this way, you'll lay the 3.5 going across on your scoreboard. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch. So then you wind up with 2.5 by 3. Got it? So cut 8 pieces at 2.5 by 3.5, score 1/2 inch, and put your score tape just like we did the other hinges. So you need to cut 8 of these. I've already cut them and I've scored each and every one of them and put my score tape on already. And then you're going to have one bottom piece, 2.5 by 3 inches. And I score taped all around it already. Then you're going to take your decorative paper that's going to go on top, and you're going to want to score that, and you're going to need 9 of them, 8 of them if you want it plain paper on the back, and then 8 plain paper ones, because you need 18 altogether. So to cut 9 decorative paper pieces, or whatever paper you're choosing to line these with, by 2 1/4 inch by 2 3/4 of an inch. So 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. Let's double check. 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, so that's correct. So there you go. Cut. In this case, I did 18 of them and I already scored them. And then for the belly band that's gonna go over it, this one is cut at 1.5 by 7.5 and cut across at 1/2 inch, or not cut, score it at 1/2 inch again, fold it over and put your score tape, and that's going to make our flap. And yes, this one is 1.5 inches. Your decorative pieces to go over it are going to be cut at, yep, this is correct, 1 1/4 of an inch by 6 3/4 of an inch, cut 2. 1 1/4 by 6 3/4, cut 2 of them, one for the front and one for the back. So that when it's on there and it flips up, you have both sides decorative. Do not adhere these yet. We have to put our magnet on, okay? All right, so now we have our back piece, and I'll start to zoom in. I'll zoom in for you here as best as I can. And you know we're going to lay it this way. It's not all going to be in frame. Put these aside, your decorative pieces aside, and let's just work with our pieces here that we have. You should have already scored them by now. Okay, So again, let me double check where I started with this one so I don't run into that same problem. I adhered this like, I'll tell you exactly, just shy of a 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, you want to leave like a 1/4 of an inch at the top. A little bit less. Okay, and the same thing goes, we're going to peel off our score tape with the first one, and I really need to get my head in here, and I'm going to line it up with my grids. And I'm going from the top, and I'm eyeballing it to be equal on both sides, as equal as it can be. And I'm eyeballing it like slightly less than a 1/4 of an inch. And make sure it's straight as best as you can get it. And that looks like it's pretty straight. And push it down. Okay, so same thing. You have that flap, and we're going to go all the way down, butting each one of these up, and hopefully they'll come out straight. And this, you're doing a lot of them, so it's more chancy than what it was with the 3 pages, because this isn't as... Yep, my husband just came home. Okay, and it's looking good. I got 2 down. They're looking good, so I think we're good. So go ahead and continue to line these up one at a time, butting corner to corner, making sure it's right up against that, and hopefully it went straight. That one's a little crooked. If you get crooked, you can peel it off slowly. I'm just showing you if you make a mistake, and try to redo it. But if your paper was cut crooked, you're going to have to recut your paper. Okay, because you really want these to be nice and uniform. So go ahead, and I'm going to continue to line them all up and glue them on, and I'll come back. Alright, so I got these on here pretty straight. You can see I'm pretty much lined up nicely. And then my last piece, let me take off the score tape. This is the one that we cut at 2.5 by 3. And this is going to be the one that lays on the bottom. And you could put, I'm going to put a little glue on this one because my magnet's going to go on this. Remember how we did it the last time? So I just don't want my magnet pulling this up. So go ahead and put some glue on this bottom last one, because this one doesn't have a hinge. It just goes straight down. And you get it the right way. And still line it up corner to corner, butt it right in there with your thing and put it down. So there you go. Now it looks, that's how the first one was supposed to be. It still gives you that page looking, but it's stuck down. Okay, so there we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then that one. And now we'll do the belly band. Where is it? It is right here. So we scored our belly band at that 1/2 an inch. Again, 1.5 by 7.5. Scored across the 1.5 on the 7.5. Put your score tape down, and we're going to adhere it to the top, just like we did the last time. And this time I got it right. So that's your whole paper. I'm going to move this down so I can get in here. And again, you want to make it look even. You can actually push it up against that way and fold your little flap down. That looks like it's even on both sides. And push your little flap down. Did you see how I did that? And there you go. So now we want to attach our magnet again before we put our decorative paper on. And again, I'm going to flip it over. And let me grab 2 magnets. So one is again gonna go on this side of our flap at the bottom and move it up high so we can put our decorative paper around it again. See how much space I left? Let's put the Scotch tape over it. And now we have to put it down here. Make sure you push this down flat because this is going to be glued down, so you don't want it to buckle up. Excuse me, get another magnet. And now we're going to want to put it, so that's the side that's going to stick, so I want to put glue on this bottom part. Ah! Okay, make sure you lay it flat. Wipe the glue off your fingertips. And go to your last page on the bottom. And this should be about right. I got enough room for my paper to glue down, and that magnet should catch it well enough. Even if it's not exactly, it'll be enough to hold this down. Hold your little belly band down. Alright, so I'm going to put another piece of tape going this way because when I test this out, it's going to rip it off. Perfect. And this will be laying flat, so it's going to be good. So now we can flip this over and put our score tape all the way around and glue and put it in the book. Let me get the score tape. A reason why I didn't score tape it first is because if I screwed it up, I'd waste all that score tape, and that crap is expensive when you're doing your minis. All right, be right back. I don't know when that shut off, but I got it down. I smoothed it, it's glued in, and now we'll decorate with the colored decorative paper. I'm going to show you on this one. This, I do the glue as well because this has got a magnet on it, so it's going to get manhandled with a lot of pulling. And let me zoom out. Ta-da! Okay. So, I'm going to do this side because I'm going to do the rest off camera. Here's where your magnet is. Put glue on that magnet, right over that Scotch tape. And I go around it too. Circle around your magnet and put it right on top. Alright, and then run a strip of glue down the center of this. Okay? Are you guys sick of hearing me yet? Okay, now start at this end because you want to be sure you have that 1/4 of an inch around that magnet. You want to make sure that your magnet has plenty of room to be adhered over with your paper around it. I think that made sense. Okay. So there we go. Now I'll put this one on top of this belly band, and then I'm going to go ahead and undo all my decorative pieces of paper and glue them onto the front and the backs of all my waterfall pages, leaving that border around, so it'll be like that, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like after I'm done. Okay, so all my decorative papers are attached. My flappy is decorated, and I did both sides. Now what you can do, if you want to, is in between there where your hinges are, you can take pieces of your scraps that you have that are 1/2 an inch left over, and cut them and put score tape down the middle of each one. I'm gonna do that, but not right now, because I don't want to cut it. I don't want to do it. But so save these little scraps because they're perfect to do that, to make it decorative. Or you can leave it plain white if you want, which I'm undecided what I'm gonna do yet. So I just have to see the way it looks. All right, so if you hung with me thus far, the next page that we're gonna work on is gonna be the hardest, but it is gonna be worth it. And if you follow me, you'll be able to do it. But before we get started with that, this is the second piece that I told you to cut by 3 3/8 of an inch by 7 3/4. It's the same as this one was. And that we're gonna glue on right there. That's our front flap. Okay, so I already score taped it and I have it cut out. And I'm just gonna attach it. And remember, we want to glue this because we have our magnets on here. So we're really going to want glue to secure those magnet areas. So I'm going to put my glue all on and around my magnets. I never know if I'm recording. I keep having to look up because you never know when it shuts off. If the memory card's full or what. So I go around and put it on top of my magnets and around them. Okay, and then in the center where I don't have score tape, just get it all over. And nothing's going to go on top of this, it's just for the decoration. But I still want that glue because your magnet's going to be opening and closing this thing up. And you want to get it even with that piece of paper right there. Don't go in your groove mark. Stay within the thing, and you're going to have that little border of a lip going around as usual. I didn't get that on as straight as I wanted, but it's okay. Flatten it all out, go around with your finger to put your score tape down. It's a little crooked because I didn't really get my head in there like I should have. But go around all those magnets. There's the other one. Make sure you push it all the way around and that glue will dry around it. You'll feel where it puckers. You'll be able to feel them. Okay, that's what we have so far. Now the last page that we're going to do is going to be difficult. Oh, no, before I do this page, I'm going to show you how to put the pockets on your front pages. So that's going to be next. So now your album's going to close up like that. When it stands up, it'll stand up. Your purse front will open. You can lay it down and open it all like that. Okay? Alright, so let's move on over to back to these pages again. We're not going to put the inserts on the front of your pages. I didn't do the backs, but on the fronts, so you can choose. If you want to put pockets on both sides, that's up to you. I'm leaving this open so you could put a nice big picture. Or I'll put something that you could tuck pictures, whatever. So on the front, my album's facing me like this. You can see this is going to be the handle. This is the front of the purse. It's going to open. And our pages are going to stand up. So on the fronts of these pages, I created this pocket because inside I'm going to make the little wallet mini album that's going to go in here. And photo booklets that you can tuck in, or journaling cards. So I'm only going to make 6. I'm putting them on the front covers. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 if you want them on the back as well. So we need to, if you were just going to do a pocket where you were going to, how do I want to say this? Just stick like one piece of cardstock in, you could just glue it straight. But we have to make this a bigger pocket because I have it all done. Because I need to give it room so that this thick little mini wallet that we're going to make at the end is going to fit in there. So how you have to do that is I have everything cut what we need. Why do I only have 3 of those? Oh, because I have 3 of these, I think. Yep. Those are my scraps. Let me get that out of there so I don't confuse you. Alright, so remember, save these little pieces because we're going to put them in our hinges on our waterfall if you want to. Alright, so I chose 3 different, I made the same but 3 different decorative pieces that are going to go on top. So let me put these to the side. We'll get to that. To make our pockets, we are going to cut, you're going to need 6 of them, or 12 if you're going to put them on both sides. I only do them on the front. So you need 6 of these cut at 3 inches by 8 inches. So 3 by 8. Cut 6 of them. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do the first one. So this is what you have, 3 inches by 8 inches. You're going to get your scoreboard, lay it across, going to the 8 inches. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. It's as much as I can go. And you want to score 1/2 an inch on each end. Again, I just turn it around and go by this. If you don't want to turn your paper, then you would score it at the 1/2 inch and the 7 3/4 an inch. That's just how I'm used to doing it. So you want 1/2 an inch scored on both of these ends and then along the bottom. Okay, so now we did score mark going down that way. Now we're going to turn our paper this way on the bottom and score another 1/2 an inch going across the bottom. The top is going to be blank because that's the pocket that it's going to go in. So now I'm going to show you how to make the pocket. Zoom out, put your scoreboard away. Oh, you'll do this to all your pockets. I'm just going to show you one. Alright, so this will be the front of our pocket. Fold your score lines in. So we have all our score lines like that. Now what you want to do is cut out these little squares on your corners where you folded. It should make a little square. Cut that out. Just take it and cut it out on both of them. Okay, so we did that. Now you're going to take your score tape, because this is going to fold in like this, and then this bottom is going to fold on top. It's very important that you fold these going in first and this on top, because this pocket is then going to glue down on. You're going to put your glue around here to glue the pocket, and therefore it gives you that room. But these need to go down, because when you're sliding stuff in, not that these are going to be that big, you know, if you were making it the same width, it'll get caught up on that lip if that's down first. Do you see what I mean? So go ahead and run your score tape, fold them up, and your score tape's going to go along this folded edge. I put it right in the middle. You don't have to go right to the edge. So you got it on that, and these, and run it down these two strips here. Perfect. All right, now take your craft knife, fold that part in, lift up just that edge of that, and put that down, and then put your score tape back because we're not ready to have it all undone yet. Okay, so there, that's the inside. Now what I want to do, you can miter these two little corners just because it'll look better when it's adhered down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. That way when your pocket's glued down, you're not going to see those two little lips up there. So that's why I miter that. And you're just going to, like we did before, see how it's looking? That's the top edge of your pocket. If you wanted to, you can use a decorative edge die and make a decorative edge along this. I don't for this album, but I do in other albums. Here you can do lace. I just keep this one pretty simple and chic. Okay, so there's our pocket. Can you see? That's like the inside. So my score tape is around. So now I peel off my score tape. I'm going to take one of my covers. This is the top where the tag's going to pull out. So obviously on the bottom, I'm going to adhere it to my page right like that. And I go along the bottom of my decorative paper, leaving that little white lip around the edge there. So, okay, so that looks good. It's the right size, and it should go end to end. So now I'm going to peel off my score tape all the way. And because this is going to get pulled on a little bit, you might want to take your glue. Let me wipe this off. It gets all nasty. You might want to take a little bit of glue here and just hit your corners and like along this edge a little bit. Not a lot. Just because it's going to get pulled on, so it's just some extra security. Very little, okay? And right in there, because it's bulky because you folded it over. And then when it's glued down, then you know when you're putting your little mini in the mini, it's gonna stay nice for you. And then I attach it, lining it up to the bottom of my decorative paper so it doesn't show, and press down. Now because we put the glue, if you get some glue seeping out, which I didn't, I have this cool tool. I got this from Stampin' Up! Like probably 10 years ago, and it's an adhesive eraser. It really does work good. If you get like adhesive on your edges and you rub it, it like gathers up the adhesive and kind of gets it off. So you can clean up your edges that way. But so you want to go around and press firmly around. And now we have a pocket that has a little more room than most pockets. And then this is where you take your decorative paper, and I cut these at, I wrote on one of them so I could, 1 3/4 by 6 3/4. And that will lay right in the middle. Actually, we can make this bigger. No, I kind of like it like that because I want more of the pocket to show. You can make it, let me see something. So this pocket measures 7 by 2.5. So you can do this 6 3/4 by 2 1/4. What did I cut mine at? I cut mine at 1 3/4 by 6 3/4. That's fine. I want it, you're just going to have a bigger edge around there. But I kind of like it like that. So I'm fine with it because it's showing the white. So that's how I cut mine. 1 3/4 by 6 3/4. I'm going to put score tape around and I'm going to attach them all and I'm going to put all my pockets on and make them. So I'll be back.